Well, David, let's talk about the game as a whole. It doesn't get any easier, as I said, for Ipswich Town going to the champions at the Etihad for the first time. A new ground for Town fans to go to. How do you reckon it will go? And prediction.
It's a tricky one. Listen, I'm not gonna gaslight all your viewers and listeners into thinking that that I don't think City are going to win. It's really hard to stay humble on these things and say, well, there's always a chance and like all this sort of stuff, because ultimately 99 times out of 100, City win the game, and everyone goes, well, what were you talking about? But there is opportunity. That doesn't mean Ipswich will take it. It doesn't mean you'll get anything from the game. It means that you could win the game, you could draw the game, you could get something. Most likely City will win. But at the same time, there is also the opportunity for most likely City to win and Ipswich to take a lot of positives from the game. I didn't see the whole of that of the game against Liverpool, but I imagine there's a lot of positives that Ipswich took from certainly the first half performance, and the same sort of thing can happen again. Now, again, don't get me wrong, it's a long Premier League season, but suddenly 2 games turns into 4 games, turns into 10 games, turns into 15 games. And if points haven't started to arrive on the board, then there's an awful lot of pressure that comes later down the line. I mean, you mentioned earlier about the last time City and Ipswich met in the league, Ipswich relegated City. That was exactly what happened to City that season. They started off all right, but they had a winter period where I think they lost 6 games in a row and barely picked up any point. They must have gone 3 or 4 months without a win. And when that happens, suddenly you realise, oh, hang on, we're being left behind here. And that's when City fell into the relegation zone that year. They didn't get out of it, and that's always the kind of concern. So it's not a case of that Ipswich should target this as something to get something from. But I think you have to see signs of what you're trying to achieve and what Kieran McKenna's trying to achieve in the Premier League. So I'm not expecting it to be an easy game. I look at where City are at fitness-wise and where they've been in pre-season and kind of coming to this point. There's a lot of first-team players in there who, yes, while full of quality, haven't quite got the lungs yet and haven't quite got the legs back yet from the back end of last season. And again, as I said before, it's all by design, so it's like it's not unexpected. So that could result in a situation where from the outside it looks like City are making quite hard work of a game that they should win. And when that happens, sometimes they're 1-0 up with 10 minutes left, and the opposition nick a goal on the break, and then you go, oh, good God, how's this happened? The opposition, it's 1-1 with 10 minutes to go. That could happen. At the same time, what could quite easily happen is City's quality, like even though the players are not there and not fit, the quality of them in these moments could just be the difference. And you look at Haaland had 2 chances against Chelsea. He scored one of them. He missed one of them. Maybe he has 2 chances against Ipswich and scores them both. And that could be the difference. And I remember Kevin Keegan, when City manager in 2002, we came up to the Premier League having swashbuckled our way to the Championship title in 2001-2. And the first game was away at Leeds. And Leeds beat us 3-0. And all 3 of the goals weren't even proper chances. They were half chances that Premier League players take. And that's the sort of harsh lesson that you get taught as a newly promoted side in the Premier League. I mean, you've experienced the Premier League before. You've been there in the past, and you know what it is like. It is so much more punishing than lower divisions. And the Premier League in 2024 is so much more punishing than the Premier League was in 2000, 2001, 2002 time. So you have this situation now where City are there to be got at, and there is certainly a chance that City can be got at. But 99 times out of 100, they win this game on Saturday, and it looks quite comfortable and quite easy. So I never discount that the opposition could do something and something like that could happen. But at the same time, you just have to go in with confidence of the knowledge that City's team is very expensively assembled. It's a team that is filled with quality, run by a manager who has ideas about football that I don't even like. He has ideas about things that I don't even know exist. That's how much he knows about the game. And so when you put all of that together, City should exploit the spaces, and they should be able to create spaces that pull Ipswich all over the place, and they should go on and win the game. Doesn't always happen like that at football. So like that's the niggling doubt, but it has to be a small thing in the back of your mind. So in terms of a game, If Ipswich were to take something, I'm not surprised. Certainly with where City are at. If Ipswich were to come to the Etihad, put up a good fight, but ultimately lose 3-0, not surprised with that either. It all depends on those individual moments and whether City can punish Ipswich when they get the chances. Because City will get chances. I think Ipswich will probably get a couple of chances as well. And if City squander theirs and Ipswich take theirs, suddenly you've got a story and it can happen. But at the same time, if City take their chances and limit Ipswich to 1 or 2 attacks and Ipswich can't get the ball over the line, then it looks quite easy and quite comfortable. I think that is slightly more likely, and I'll go with the with the 3-0 that I said. But I don't do it big headedly. I do it with full in the knowledge that I could have egg on my face on Sunday morning.